Are political yard signs effective? Well, if you want to know the answer to that question, you are in the right place. I'm going to tell you how to make yours shine. Stick around because I got a lot to say. We're going to cover three things in this video. Number one is the price you pay if you do not do yard signs. Second, I'm going to tell you how to make yours shine. And third, I'm going to tell you about the strategic locations you should put your yard signs. Let's start with the price you pay if you don't. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're in a suburban community or maybe living in a small town, and it's rolling up to election day, perhaps 3-4 weeks before people start to vote. And your volunteers, the people who've gone door to door for you, your campaign contributors who sacrificed money to help you, your influential supporters who've endorsed you, are driving around town and they see yard signs for all of the other candidates, including your opponents, and they don't see yours. Rightly or wrongly, this is what they're going to think. That you've run out of money, that their efforts have been in vain, that they have wasted their money giving to you, wasted their time volunteering for you, put themselves out on a limb by endorsing you, because you don't have any yard signs. And they're going to assume either that you've run out of money or you're being a lazy candidate. It is a really bad impression. So the price you pay if you don't do yard signs is you depress your own supporters who will give up if they see no evidence that you're working at it. Number two, the secrets of an effective yard sign. And I'm going to recount a story from a meeting I sat through with a campaign staff many years ago to discuss yard signs. One lady at the table, as we started the meeting, says, well, I've done some research and let's go cheap. 1.5 by 2 feet, 2 colors, just the name of our candidate in the office she's running for, and we got enough money to flood the zone with those yard signs. Somebody next to her says, well, hang on a second. It's not a lot of extra money if we go color, and that would look a lot nicer on our yard sign if we could put our logo on the yard sign along with her name in the office she's running for. Third person says, well, yeah, but if we're going to go 4 color, why shouldn't we also put her picture there? So people, when they see her name, have a face to associate with her name right next to the logo because that reinforces our branding. Then a fourth person spoke up and says, you know, this campaign slogan that we've been using, safer streets, cleaner parks, more playgrounds, has it occurred to anybody here that that slogan is really resonating with the voters? That's the reason we're gaining steam in this race, because none of the other candidates are talking about that. So why don't we make the yard sign just a little bit bigger, and we'll have 4 color with the logo, the name, the office she's running for, a picture, and a little slogan at the bottom to remind people why they like her. That was the decision we made. And that is the secret of an effective yard sign. It is better to have an effective yard sign, perhaps that fewer people see, than it is to have a piece of trash that no one notices because all it is a 2-color piece of paper with your name and the office you're running for. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the secret of an effective yard sign. I also want to mention something about ordering your yard signs. This crops up with every client I have when it's time to order them. Where do I get them? Okay, well, number one, talk to the candidates who've run in your community before. Elections have been going on for years. Yard signs are a staple in politics. Surely there's someone in your community who's run for office before who used the yard signs, and ask them where they got theirs. That's option number one. Option number two, I helped a client do this recently. He's running in a small town somewhere down in Georgia. And we're on a call one day and says, where do I get them? And I Googled how to find yard signs in the name of the town. Well, up popped 9 different companies that make yard signs, all within a 5-mile radius. The next day he got on the phone and he found one that suited his purpose. Option number 3, there are lots of companies, and all you got to do is go look on Google. Lots of companies in the United States and elsewhere that make yard signs in a faraway place. They'll print them if you give them the artwork. They'll send them to you, ship them to you. Just make sure that you check their references and their prices before you do business with them. Make sure they have happy customers. All 3 of those are fine ways to figure out where to get your yard signs printed. Okay, I told you we'd have some strategic comments to make here about strategic locations. And there are many depending on your need. Now, in general, the most effective place to put a yard sign is in someone's yard, because that means someone who lives in that house is supporting you, and that makes a difference to their neighbors. You can also look for street corners. Just every community has a street corner where there are stop signs on every corner, and people have to come to a full stop before they enter the intersection. They're slowing down, they're stopping. Sometimes they have nothing better to do than glance at a yard sign that's on the street corner. Another place to consider are what we call busy intersections. These are areas that have green lights and stop lights, traffic lights, where people have nothing better to do while they're waiting on traffic to clear and the light to change than to stare at the large signs that dot the edge of the road. Those are strategic locations to put them. Now, how do you find the people who are willing to put one in their yard? That's one of the secrets of door-to-door canvassing. If you're in a suburban or rural area, you are probably knocking on doors. You are going door to door. And here's the way it goes. You meet a voter. They seem supportive. They like what you have to say. So at the end of that conversation, you say, I really appreciate your comments. Is it possible that we could come back and put a yard sign in your yard when we get around to doing that in a couple of weeks? If the answer is yes, you don't need to have any more contact with them. You don't need to ask permission a second time. Keep a list of those who have said, it's okay to put a yard sign in my yard, and then you bring together a crew on a Saturday or a Sunday. You give them a map and you tell them the exact locations where people have said yes to a yard sign. You can transform a community almost overnight if you've got a political campaign going on, because within a few days, everybody's going to notice that your yard signs have gone up almost overnight everywhere. I'm going to tell you another story or two here about how strategic locations have been used in politics. A few years ago, there was an unusual race for the United States Senate in the state of Alabama. The Republicans had nominated a very, very controversial candidate. The Democrats had nominated a candidate who was given a pretty good chance of winning. Now, Alabama is about as red as you can get. Very seldom do they ever elect a Democrat to statewide office. But this race was the exception. What the Democrat did in order to let other Republicans know that it was okay to vote for him was strategic placement of his yard signs in suburban, well-educated, very conservative Republican neighborhoods. And what he did is he would identify people in those neighborhoods willing to put up his yard sign, which clearly said, Doug Jones, Democrat, U.S. Senate. And it was a message to all of their Republican neighbors that it was okay in this particular race to go vote for a Democrat for the United States Senate. He won that election. It is history. But that is one of the ways he strategically used the placement of his yard signs to win an election. There's something else I should mention here. There are those in this world who say yard signs are a total waste of money, that we can do all we need to now with social media. And I take an issue with that. Not all people see your social media. Not all people are online. Not all people read newspapers. But everybody at some point during the course of a week has to go to the drugstore. They have to go to the grocery store. They got to go get in their car and go somewhere. Yes, having yard signs there that reinforce your slogan, your logo, your picture is just icing on the cake that says you are real, that you're making a real effort. Do not dismiss the notion that yard signs are effective, because they are. It is simply another way to reinforce your brand and to give yourself a better chance of winning. And speaking of social media, I got a great video for you to watch so you know how to do that well as well. It's called How to Use Social Media in a Political Campaign. It's in the link below. Go watch it now while this still is fresh in your mind.